I will share with you today my work on information preferences and older people perceptions of smart home technology. So I will start by the challenges that we are facing today, and then discuss some of older people's perspective of smart home technology. And after, I will share with you some findings of my study and conclude by discussion and open questions. As you know, the UK, like many other countries, face the challenges of aging society, where health spending really rise considerably, and due for health conditions, deterioration with aging. These conditions might require continuous monitoring and supervising older people, especially with obesity, depression, diabetes. So we can see in the graph below, the cost of caring for older people increase considerably with age. So there is a pressing need to find a solution to provide a high quality care without increasing cost, as most of older people want and prefer to stay living at home in their own homes. At the same time, the technological progress is fast and constant, and the use of technology is really more and more embedded in our society. So this brings challenges for older people who, especially for who were born really before even the age of internet. But however, many older people now are eager to learn, as we can see in this figure, that 77% of over 65 years old use the internet at home in 2020, especially, with Corona. I think the number is much higher. The 2020 report found that 21% of over 75 years old have a social media account. So it's Facebook or Instagram. They use social media more and more. So older people are embracing modern technology more than ever before. And I think we can start talking about digital inclusion of older people with some precaution for sure. Smart home technologies might address the needs of older people living at home by offering a way to improve their quality of life, their health, their safety, monitoring their health, and may decrease the cost associated with the health deterioration. But in previous research, we found that the acceptability and adoption of smart home technologies is really poor. Especially if we are talking about older people who are living still independently at home, because they consider this technology more for frail people or more dependent people. So we tried in our work to investigate why and how older people's perception of smart home may change over time and with use of smart home technology. What factors can improve the acceptability or push older people to adopt and accept this technology, or when older people perceive the benefit to live in a smart home? To do so, we adopted a user-centered approach where older people were partner in research in each phase of the project. So we recruited 13 older people between 65 and 89 years old from the community. 6 people were from the community who never had an experience living in a smart house, and 7 people were living in a smart house as part of a project called the Sphere. They were living in a smart house for between 8 and 12 months. The technology was deployed at their house as part of the project. So their house was equipped with environmental sensors, silhouette sensors, and they had as well a wearable in their hand, which is a wrist-worn sensor. It's developed in the University of Bristol to monitor the health and behavior of the participants. The Sphere system used a NAP, just an interface called Genie, to view the battery level of the wearable, pause the data collection, or delete data collected for a certain period of time. So to start, we organized a focus group in Sphere House, which is an experimental facility similar to any house, equipped with the same kind of sensors. The participants visited the prototype house and learned about the technology, especially for people who were recruited from the community and were never be in contact with a smart house. So focus groups were followed by home visits, semi-structured interviews, probe activities, and then we worked together to design an in-home interface and decide what information they want to visualize or to see or to access to make this technology more useful for in their point of view. The results of the focus group and semi-structured interviews were analyzed using the thematic analysis. As a result, we can see that all participants have a positive view of smart home technology, with some difference between people who tried the technology already and lived in a smart house, and for people who just embraced the technology and they never be they would never be living in a smart house before. I will present first the result with people. It's not moving, sorry. I will start by presenting specific findings of older people who were living in Sphere technology, so in the Sphere house. We can see they were asking for more interaction with the system. They want to have access to some information or to receive suggestion from the system, depending on their mood of the day or of their activity level. So they wanted more interaction with the system. Because they tried the technology, so they were really caring about the aesthetic and the position of the sensors. They want to know who accessed their data and how the data was analyzed. How do we do the analysis of the data collected? Who can access this data? And they were worried about the way the system can communicate with this information. They didn't want a big brother at home giving orders, as they tried the technology at home, so they were more focusing, they were like more sensitive, as I said, on how they want things to be placed in their homes. They wanted to have the choice where to place some sensors and to select what they need. So some suggested, for example, that they prefer to not have a sensor in the toilet. It's better that the sensors be hidden from view, which is, here it's like double side. It's positive and negative, because if it's hidden, sometimes you forget completely that you are monitored. Question of privacy, it's a question mark. You forgot that you have a sensor at home with time. As well, they had a large curiosity about how the data would be analyzed, as I said, and what kind of information they can access to. Another concern raised within within this group of participants, it was making the visitors aware of the smart home. If you have a home equipped with sensors and you have a visitor, for privacy question, we ask them to let the visitor know that they are monitored, or to make them sign a consent form that they are getting in a smart home. But some participants didn't. And when the visitors asked about the silhouette sensor, they answered that it was just for security reasons. As a common concerns for all the participants who tried the technology and who didn't try, we find the technical concerns and the affordability of the technology. They were worried about the feasibility of monitoring more than one person at the same time. Is it possible or not? And they were asking how to make this technology accessible and affordable for everyone. So another concern as well, it was the impact on human relationship, which is the impact on level of socialization of older people. So they don't want this technology to replace the face-to-face interaction. They look for more socialization instead. They don't want to be burdened on their family. Usually they move to residential care to not become burden to others, and they will not accept to be monitored by other family members if they feel it's going to be a burden on them. So they don't want the system to replace carers, but help carers. They want to keep carer visits as it's kind of socialization as well for them. All the participants shared same concerns as well about having trust in the competence and engagement of the person who is monitoring them. So some people told me that he might be reading a book and not notice that I fall down or I have a problem. So they have this trust problem. They think he will be reading or sleeping, or even his reaction will not be as fast as it should be in case of emergency. Another important finding is that people may wish to customize the technology and not to have all the senses together. So you might just select what you want. They suggested to select what they need for a gradual adoption of the technology, and then to add any needed features in the future. The most important finding in this study is about the difference, which is, I will show it now, the difference between people who lived in a smart house and people who just embraced the technology recently. While people who didn't live in a smart house have concerns about sharing data, security of the system, the rest of the participants didn't have any privacy issue. So people who tried the technology, the privacy issues disappear. It seems that with time and use, participants feel more comfortable and trustful, which reflect the link between privacy and trust. So with use, older people trusted the researchers accessing the data collected. Who didn't live in Sphere, in smart house, and just visited and saw the technology, they thought that it was intrusive. While the most people who was living in Sphere house found it unobtrusive, and just some of them, especially who are not used to wear watches, found it, the wearable uncomfortable, not aesthetic, need to change, the bracelet of the wearable. Or they were talking about forgetting to charge it. So while most of the participants were fascinated by the potential of smart house, of smart technology, most of them didn't think that they need to live in a smart home, even who are trying the technology. And they would be willing to use it just when they get older or more frailer, which can be explained by the fact that older people are not always aware of the change in their needs until someone else tells them, like family member, carer. Carers and family members are play an important role in the decision, and they can promote telemonitoring technology. Most of older people who use smartphone or tablet, has received this phone or tablet as a gift from a family member, and they get an advice from them. They help them how to use it. So most of the participants found that living in a smart home like stigmatizing and means that they are frail, while having a smartphone or a tablet make them feel proud and happy, as they consider smartphones and tablets are made for young people, and those make them feel proud to be able to use it. As a result of this, I will conclude with some most important factors that all the people think will improve the utility of smart home technology and promote its acceptance. So we can see that most of the people want to live safely at home, independently, to be able to come back home early from hospital, early discharge, as long as they are monitored and supported when needed. They wanted to be monitored by health professionals, more likely, and by someone they choose, and they can't change their mind after, so he shouldn't be fixed all the time, same person. They trusted health professionals, which can be a key to acceptance of telemonitoring technology. They want an easy-to-use system, or what they can call a self-taught system, where they can receive suggestions for social activities and recreation, like going to a book club, church event, knitting club, or attend some social event. They want a reminder to take a medication, to drink water, turn off the hob or tap, or help find the keys, wearable, or even remind them to put their bins outside and remind them bin days, if it's green or gray. So they want help in their everyday task. Older people don't like to feel old. And when you present the system as for older people or for health issues, they might have as a prejudgment about the system. And they would consider it's just for frail people, not for us. While they are still like feeling young in their mind, they will not be, buying or having a new technology if they don't need it. So smart home technology need to be customized and must be seen as an addition, not a replacing for healthcare. And it should help them fulfill their needs of safety, as well as having fun, education, information, and to connect with other people. This will facilitate the adoption of any future technology. So the technology need to be not to make them feel old, and to facilitate new social and community events in brief. Next step, through different workshops, 3 workshop sessions, participants discussed and drew the design of the in-home interface. They did it by themselves. I was helping, I was like just managing or answering questions, but surprisingly, they were able to even draw the interface, draw even the emoji or the icons, and decide what information should be on the interface 1, interface 2, as I will show you in the next slide. So they chose the functionality they need. They think it will facilitate the technology adoption. They took care of including all the information that makes the technology useful, easy of use, and attractive. So at least from their point of view. So this is the final product, as you see, the final interface that they called My Body. They called it My Body, Not Me. So it's an in-home interface developed by older people for older people. The participants felt like young in their mind and kept themselves busy most of the day. And this was reflected, as you see, by the information chosen to be displayed, the activities to be suggested by the system, and the way the information is presented here. On the main screen, I will use the pointer. On the main screen, as we can see here on the left, they found useful to have information about the wearable batteries. First on this one, the weather, the pollen level, the temperature of the day, and on the left, we can see they recommended like social and cognitive triggers. If you see on the first part, these triggers can be customized based on the mood of the person, mood of the day, and on the social status. They divided the reminders into 2 sections, section 1 and section 2, where they can have reminders or triggers or for today's event, such as going to a movie, an appointment, or taking a medicine, and another for tomorrow events, such as bin collection or an upcoming appointment. This will allow older people to get ready earlier. So given the weather and the advanced reminders, will allow them to plan the trips. On the right of the main display, older people can access their health here, their health information, especially their mood of the day. They can tell us how do they feel, if they feel depressed, and the system can give them recommendations. And they can specify, select a social activity, take care of their well-being. They can configure the system or contact a health carer or assistant that they called My Body as well. Social activities here, they were divided in local and going out. So the system may recommend online courses, games, meetup groups, recipes based on user preferences, health status, and mood of the day as well. The going out option would provide the user with the ability to search for social events, nature walk, or activities like sports, suggestion of the day as well. The system will suggest daily activity, daily events such as knitting or dancing or booking club. So the well-being feature would provide the user with healthy recipes depending on their health status, online exercise, diet advice, and if there is necessity, Buddy My Assistant would enable the user to communicate with health professional or technical support. The setting up my machine option will allow the user to customize the technology by adding or removing features, configuring data access permission, and adding, the person who can access the data or not, turning the system on or off, for example. I will conclude with some quotations from two older participants that I will let you enjoy reading it. You might agree with me that getting to a smart home technology fully adapted to our older people perspective is a journey that we started already. I thank you all for listening, and I'm really happy to take any questions. Thank you.